Scientology could be called, well, you could call it a religion of religions.
Howdy everybody, and welcome to the Indie Scientology podcast. I'm your host, Andy Nolch, the Space Cowboy, and these are closed-door secret briefings about vital information about Scientology and the world that you need to know. It's deep data, hidden data. Today's briefing is a commentary on the famous South Park Scientology episode. Because I think it would be good for people to hear a Scientologist perspective of this South Park episode. Now, I'm only now half a Scientologist. You could probably even call me not a Scientologist. So I've sort of evolved out of Scientology because I found out the truth about it. So I'm not really going to be giving you the brainwashed, typical church member brainwashed Scientologist perspective on this video, but I will give it. I will say what they think of certain things, so you can, watching this South Park episode, you can understand like a church member's point of view on this, and then I'll also give you the truth behind it as well, the hardcore truth, which is what I know because I understand all of Scientology and everything that's going on. So let's put this on. And I'll click play now. By the way, President Trump did this speech in Texas and stuff, and none of the media covered it at all, except like Alex Jones. So Trump is totally getting totally just attacked, just massively just attacked. They're trying to hide him away because they hate right-wingers that much. Australia had a guy called Tony Abbott like 5 years ago. He was our Prime Minister, and he was actually legitimately right-wing and not for the communist agenda. And they did the similar thing where they trashed the hell out of him in the media, and he ended up only serving, I think, half of his term in office. So at least Trump amazingly has managed to get to the end of his term, right? Because they are freaking, they hate it. They're just, they're so fucked up. But they just do the same thing. They just pick on everyone. They just use the mainstream media to bully the hell out of someone. And the fact that they're impeaching him is so stupid because the impeachment can't go through because he's about to go out of office anyway. But the reason why, because it takes a while for it to go through. So anyone who was looking at it would think, well, let's not impeach him because what's the point? Like, let's say you're a lefty and you don't like Trump. Let's not impeach him. What's the point? Because we can't get it done in time. But they all said, yeah, let's impeach Trump. So they've impeached Trump or something. And it's like they can't get it approved or whatever in time anyway. So there's no point. Trump's leaving office in 2 weeks. So it's the stupidest thing ever, right? But the reason they're doing it is because they just want to do all these news reports where they say, Trump, the first president ever to be impeached twice and all this crap. And you just keep on bullying Trump. And it's just all about this whole trashing Trump and just trying to do all these news reports to make everyone think that Trump's bad. But it's not working because the majority of Americans are pro-Trump. You know, people do not like communism. They really don't. And they've stolen the election from Trump. So we're just going to keep on fighting. This is bullshit. Anyway, this South Park episode that's starting now, I think it led to... the church tried to censor it, and I think it led to Chef actually leaving the South Park show because Chef is a Scientologist. He left, and I think he did that maybe to try and pressure them into taking the show down, but they said no because they pick on everyone. Anyway, here we go.
Come on down South Park and meet some friends, man. Oh, dude, check it out. I got a Jake Plumber. Man, I got a crappy AJ Feely again. How come you didn't buy any cards, Stan? I can't spend any money. I'm saving up for that bike I want. Saving money, duh. So what should we do now? It's Saturday. We have to have as much fun as possible. Hey, I know. Let's go play laser tag at Funplex. Oh, girl. No, I don't want to spend any money, you guys. Let's just do something fun that's free. Stan, don't you know the first law of physics? Anything that's fun costs at least $8. Yeah, dude. Nothing fun is free. Well, I can't spend any money. Okay, be a Jew. We're gonna go play laser tag. Yeah, see ya.
Hello, would you like to take a personality test? It's fun and it's free.
Excuse me?
We're doing free personality tests today.
What do I have to do?
Okay, first thing I like to say it's funny about this is how they don't have a sign up saying Scientology, like Scientology book. They have Dianetics, and it's like this shifty little thing that the church does because the reputation's been trashed so much. And there's reasons why. I mean, yeah, but it's not just the church being bullied. Like, they've legitimately done shit. Like, it's borderline a scam, Scientology. Like, it's a little bit of a scam. Like, it's just not what it's advertised as, okay? Anyway, but it's just funny because in this you just see them say, yo, do you want a personality test? And it doesn't mention Scientology.
Have you heard of Scientology?
Oh, well, she mentioned Scientology now, but what in real life, they wouldn't really mention Scientology. They would try and avoid that, and they'll just say, have you heard of Dianetics, blah, blah, blah. So this is actually something that South Park has gotten wrong, but anyway.
All based on the book Dianetics. A lot of really cool people are Scientologists, like Tom Cruise and John Travolta. Why don't you come on in and we'll get your fun, free personality test started? Let's just find an empty room here. Lots of people getting free tests today. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Kelly, how's it going?
Great, I want you to meet my new friend Stan.
Hey there, how are you?
Fine.
Brian's gonna give you your personality test and then let you know some things about Scientology.
Good times, good times.
Look, is this a religion?
Sorry, it's just really funny because the excessive friendliness and stuff, this is called love bombing, that the cults use to get someone into your cult. Like, you be real friendly and that sort of stuff, and so they're doing it like, hey, blah, 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 makes the person feel good, so they join the cult.
Because my family is like Catholic or something.
Oh, that's not a problem at all. Scientology is more of an alternative to psychology than a religion.
Then how come that sign says Church of Scientology?
Oh, that's just this thing. What's the Denver Broncos record now? 6-2?
7-2.
Wow, that's great. All right, come on in and take a seat. We're going to have some fun.
That sort of stuff, maybe not as blatantly obvious as that, but that sort of stuff does happen in Scientology. When someone's new to it, like, and they ask a question that's too hard, they'll just like ramble over the question or something.
All right, now I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Just answer these questions as truthfully as you can, all right? Okay. Number one, do you ever make remarks which you later regret?
Sure.
Okay, so just from an accuracy point of view, they don't actually do this test with someone asking them. You just read them out on a piece of paper, but South Park probably know that, but they just did this for the show. But anyway.
Uh-huh. Would you rather give orders than take them?
Yeah?
Oh, by the way, warning, if any Scientologist is watching this, this is where they go over the confidential material later on in the episode. So you should probably not want to watch this South Park episode because you're concerned that you might get some sort of illness or some scary thing. Ooh, but that's not really true. But anyway, you think it's true, so I better let you know.
Do you ever whistle just for the fun of it? Okay, and finally, does life sometimes feel vague and confusing to you?
Yes.
Okay, Stan, well, that's it. That's the end of the personality test.
So how'd I do?
Well, I hate to tell you this, Stan, but you are one messed up kid.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm afraid that you are completely miserable and totally depressed.
I am? I didn't know that.
Well, there's certainly no question that you are a perfect candidate for Scientology. I think it can really make you happy again.
What do I do?
It's very simple. We just need $240.
It's funny because it's true. Yeah, and also what's interesting with this personality test that they do is it seems like if the person struggles answering the questions, like doesn't know what the meaning of the words are in the questions and stuff, and hits there's 3 options for each question, and one of them's like maybe, the default thing is for the test to just come out with a bad result. So to get the test most accurate, you need to actually answer each question correctly and actually explain to someone what the probation program is, because this was written in the 60s and stuff. So people these days just hit the questions and they're just like, what the hell is this? Because they're things from ages ago. And the wording is just like in language that people spoke in the 60s, because English was different in the 60s. You know, we had a different way of talking and stuff. So people hit questions on this and they're just like, what? I don't really know what the answer is, and they just put the middle option or something. But anyway, the test is clever because if it basically is designed that if it comes across a person who isn't that smart because they can't answer the questions, then it just automatically says that the person's feeling bad and stuff. So then the person thinks, oh, I better go do Scientology, if you know what I mean. So if the person is actually in a bad condition, then the test will come out that they're in a bad condition. If they're dumb but in a fine condition, it'll come out that they're in a bad condition. so then they do Scientology. And it's kind of a little bit correct in a way, because if they're dumb, then even if they're feeling good, they should try and seek to improve themselves, so they should do Scientology. So anyway, the test is a little bit rigged to encourage a bad result, basically.
Stanley, you haven't touched your food. What's the matter with you?
I'm totally depressed.
What? Why?
I don't know.
Well, how long have you been feeling this way?
I'm not sure, but I need $240.
$240? What'd you do, break something?
No, I found a self-help program that can cure me.
Oh, Jesus. The answer is no, Stanley.
But I'm completely miserable and these people can help.
Stanley, I didn't know you were miserable.
Neither did I.
Stanley, do you have any concept of money at all? Money doesn't grow on trees, you know.
Don't you care that I'm depressed? What if I become suicidal or become an alcoholic like Grandpa?
Well, if you really think your life is so bad, Stan, why don't you take what you have out of your bicycle savings?
Well, but that's my money.
Yeah, well, just like the rest of us, you have to make choices with your money. You want a bike, or do you want to not be depressed?
Michelle, our friend Stan wants to have auditing. Oh, good for you. You're going to be so happy.
I hope so.
It's the beginning of a whole new life for you, Stan. See you afterwards.
And they got a picture of L. Ron Hubbard on the wall here in the background, and it just looks so like ugly and sleazy. It's just funny.
Great. So, do you have the $240?
See,
We're on our way.
the staff is so desperate to get there. Each week they've got to get a certain amount of sales and stuff, and they're just so desperate. So when someone comes in with money, it's just like, yes. like I remember when I came in, it was like I wanted to do the detox program because I knew saunas are good and that sort of stuff, and they didn't have to sell me on it. I was like, I want to do it this week. Come on, let's go onto it now. And like, they're just like, they're sort of a bit like, oh yes, he wants it, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's just funny.
Come on over here and I'll fill you in on how the Church of Scientology works. You see, Stan, Scientology was founded by a great man named L. Ron Hubbard. Mr. Hubbard discovered that negative...
So they got this funny music in the background, and I think it's a little bit like the Church of Scientology videos that they make, where they're the international events or whatever, and they'll show stuff like this, and they'll have the background music like do 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 do. So this is like possibly mocking that, and it's funny. So I find that funny.
Emotions are actually caused by things called body thetans.
Really?
Yes, and being the genius that he was, Mr. Hubbard invented a way to get rid of those bad thetans.
Okay, so this is actually going into confidential material. And it's sort of mocking it because it's saying all people's problems come from body thetans, even though problems come from vaccines, problems come from drinking poison in the water, problems come from inheriting genetic mental illnesses and stuff like that. And sometimes they come from like abuse as a kid or whatever. Anyway, Hubbard came up with the idea when Scientology began that it was like bad experiences from the past that leads to the individual nowadays being messed up. And then when the Scientologist had spent all this time doing that, he then like moved on, and not enough people got cured or whatever. It just didn't produce what he wanted it to do. And then he came up with the body thetans idea, which is like this idea that there's entities and spirits, and that's what's causing people to have these illnesses and problems. So he bullshitted for ages, saying that, you know, this is what's wrong with people, it's all these engrams and the bad past experiences for ages, and he was selling that for ages. And then he had to come up with now a new one because he had to keep like the kind of, I guess, sort of scam going. And And so then he had to come up with the whole body thetan idea, and that was like, oh, now it's entities problems. And then people spent ages and ages on entities, and then he passed away. But if he'd continued living, he would have come up with some new thing saying, oh, we don't need to deal with entities, we need to deal with this, and this will handle people's problems. And it's just like, it's just kind of a scam, really. But it's like, some people, by going over bad past experiences, yes, sometimes you get some person's problems cured or whatever, but it's like, I'll probably say for the majority it doesn't, you know, because it's just, there's other reasons for people's illnesses, and probably the same thing with the entity thing. Like, maybe someone does get some win here, like they probably do, that's why people continue doing it. Dealing with the entity, suddenly somebody, maybe their eyesight improves and they've always had bad eyesight, or they've always been fat and somehow they can give up eating food or something like that. But maybe that happens, but it just happens so rarely. But he latched onto that idea, that miracle cure, which sometimes it produces, and then he just made this huge thing out of it. And then you find all these people who have done the body thetan stuff and the engram stuff, which is the bad experiences in your past stuff, spend ages and ages doing all this stuff, and at the end of the day their problem isn't solved. And it's like, yeah, because it was something else. Like, it's just anyway, this is why it's like kind of a scam. That's why some people who are in it really, really like it, but then like heaps of people are just like, what the hell, I got ripped off and stuff. But anyway, like for example, I know someone who has like a twitch in his eye, and just recently he mentioned to me how it came from like some virus or something that he got, and that when he takes certain, well, I don't even know if I should be honest about it. I'm just going to say it. He got it from herpes, right? Because he's a sex addict and he was fucking dirty bitches, all right? This is just the freaking truth, all right? And so, like obviously his Scientology hasn't cured this eye twitch problem, but when he takes certain vitamins or something, maybe when he looks after his immune system or something, then his eye doesn't twitch. Because there's a thing with herpes where you can have herpes on your lip, or you can have, it's literally, they call it herpes of the eye or something, and it just gives him a twitch or whatever. But, you know, he's obviously worked out that it's actually something else he needs to do, not Scientology, to get rid of the eye thing. Like, I'm sure he tried for years doing Scientology to get rid of the eye thing and didn't get rid of it. Because how herpes works is, I think once you get it, you can never get rid of it, and it just lays dormant for years and years and years, but then sometimes causes an eye twitch or something. I don't know how it works. I think it also can mess around with your ability to think as well. Anyway, so yeah, it's just like there are other reasons for people's problems, not this whole engram and entity thing and stuff. And it's just like he contradicts himself, and it's kind of a ridiculous mess, the religion. But it's interesting and really mind-opening, and like the therapy is good, but it's just like, you know, just drop it, like after a certain amount of time, because people buy into it and they full-on buy into Hubbard, and he's like a really good salesman, and they literally believe everything, and it's just ridiculous.
This is called an e-meter. It's the main tool of Scientology. You just grab hold of these handles as I talk you through past experiences in your life. I'll be taking readings here, and we'll be able to determine your thetan levels.
Thetan levels.
Come on in the auditing room and I'll show you how it works. All these people are just like you, Stan, auditing with e-meters to get rid of their negative emotions.
Like, I'm really happy with my experience in Scientology because I didn't spend too much money, and I looked into it because I was a naughty boy. Like, I chose to look into it on the internet and ask people about all the secrets and all that sort of stuff. But that saved me from going up and doing each level and not knowing what other stuff is going on, and then getting pissed off and being like, well, I didn't get the win I wanted, or I didn't get the result I wanted, and stuff like that. But some people, they come along and they just get totally brainwashed by it, and they go all the way up and they spend all this time, all this money, and then they find out that it's kind of a scam when they get to the top, and they're just like, some people actually are so upset they commit suicide because they realize, what the hell have I wasted my life on? Like, this is freaking ridiculous. It's like, this isn't just like buying a shitty used car. Like, this is epic. Like, some people like break up families over it, and they're so dedicated to it, then they find out it's just not what they thought it was, and it's just like, whoa. Like, there are some people I won't tell the truth about Scientology to because it would just be too rude and it'll hurt their feelings too much. And it's just like, look, if you believe in Santa Claus, then you can believe in Santa Claus. And if you're happy, then fine. I'm not going to say anything because it's just rude. But, you know, it's fucked up.
Stan, I want you to just relax and take hold of the e-meter handles.
So this is gonna make me happy?
Just take a few deep breaths, and I'll just get a base reading of your thetan levels.
Okay, they don't really do this sort of stuff, this whole Thetan level stuff. It's sort of a South Park's funny impersonation of it, so this isn't really accurate, but it's still funny.
Huh, that's strange.
What?
Something's wrong. Brian, could you come over here a second?
Yeah, oh, hey there, Greg.
Stan,
Will you look at his thetan levels?
Huh, we'll get another e-meter. This one's obviously broken. Sorry about this, Greg. And so we just try to analyze your personality. And if it seems like you need some help, then you can have audit counseling for a nominal fee.
One thing that Scientology does as well is that when you go to do the counseling and stuff, the counselor is literally trained to act more professional than what they actually are. So, like, if they let's say they're delivering some Scientology and they're sort of new to it, they're literally trained to act like they're a professional at it and they've been doing it for years. So that's like in Hubbard's teaching and stuff. And then also, I think if they make a mistake, they're also trained not to say that they made a mistake and stuff. So it's just like, whoa, you can get involved. It's just crazy because you can be getting audited by someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, but they're pretending like they know what they're doing, and it's tricking you. And it's just because you're not with someone who's a full-on experienced one, but they're mocking up that they are, they're acting like they are, and it's just such a mess. Anyway.
Well, that sounds pretty reasonable.
But hold on, I don't want to bag. I'm not totally anti-Scientology. I still think people want to try it, like should try it. You open up your mind to all these new ideas, and it's really interesting and unusual. And learning how Hubbard behaved and stuff and went about life is really interesting and gives you a whole new way of viewing life and stuff. So anyway.
Mike, I need to talk to you. Excuse me, sir. I'll be right back. Are you all right?
Hold on a second. I just want to see that.
Look at audit counseling for a nominal fee. Well, that sounds pretty reasonable. Okay. Mike, I need to talk to you. Excuse me, sir. I'll be right back. Are you all right? You're sweating. Take a look at this. What is it? The e-meter results from the little boy in room D. This can't be right. We ran the test 4 times. We used 4 different e-meters. Fax these results to the head office in Los Angeles. The president has to see this right away. Go, now!
How Scientology works is that you don't know all the information about it and then you get sucked into it. So let's look at Tom Cruise. He's had so much information about Scientology hidden from him that this is why he's a fanatic and totally obsessed with it and thinks that like it can save the world and stuff, because there's so much that he doesn't know, and it takes ages to get to the bottom of Scientology and the bottom of the rabbit hole. You have to read all these books, talk to all these people, watch all these things, and it's just huge. And then you end up finding out, oh, this is a bit of a crazy religion. Anyway.
The boy is from a small mountain town in Colorado, sir.
Sir, how can it be that a first-timer scores that kind of thetan level? He registered OT9. I'm only OT7 and I've been in the church all my life. I've waited 42 years for this day. Sir, don't you all see what this means? There was only one person who ever registered OT9 in the history of our church.
It's a picture of L. Ron Hubbard. The president that they're showing here is the COB is called. This isn't an accurate depiction of COB, but they really could have done a much better job, South Park, in actually depicting COB, because COB is like this crazy, like hardcore mafia leader that like beats people up and stuff. And the church members don't know anything about this; it's all kept secret. But he's wild. But so the South Park could have really done something good here, but I can tell with this episode, they just really briefly looked into Scientology and quickly came up with something funny, but it's not totally accurate. You know?
Hubbard said he had lived past lives, that when he died his thetan would show itself again. Our prophet has returned.
Stanley, take the garbage out before you go to bed.
I took out the garbage yesterday.
Right now, Stan.
Ah. Stupid Dumb garbage.
There he is! Thank you for returning. He's wonderful. He's wonderful. Stan, what the hell did you do?
I don't know.
So all these Scientologists have believed that he's a reincarnation. And there's this guy who's like a criminal, and he claimed to be the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard. And Scientologists actually bought it, which is just... This is part of the reason why I left Scientology, because it made me realize these people are just... They're not as smart as what I thought they were. It's just like, whoa. Because you do Scientology courses to increase your smartness. And to think, you come across people who've done all these courses and they still believe some bullshit dude that's like a criminal from like Southern California. And it's so obvious that he's not the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard. But he's claiming to be, and it's like, it's just so ridiculous. And some Scientologists actually believe it. And that made me just go, yeah, these people just aren't that smart. And when some of them believed in the QAnon bullshit, because that's just a government psy operation, it's like, it's a cult of Trump. QAnon's a cult of Trump that's like deliberately being fed disinformation, all this stuff. Anyway, to see them believe in that, and then to believe this dude, some of them believe that the dude is a reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard and he's like a criminal, and it's just like, it's just so ridiculous. It made me realize, oh, these are the people who I've been, I don't know, following, or I don't know, this is a result of the religion. Like somebody doesn't become super smart. They end up just becoming someone who can just get conned like everyone else. And so it's just like, well, what's the point of doing the religion? You know? Because the whole point of Scientology, I thought, was that it was making like really smart, switched on people who wouldn't get tricked by QAnon, or wouldn't get tricked by like some dude pretending to be the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard, you know? Because apparently the reason you do Scientology is so you find out who you are, like who you've been in your past life, and then when you die and you reincarnate, you don't get tricked in the other dimensions or wherever you go as a spirit. You don't get tricked by the scams that aliens have going and stuff, because it seems like possibly the aliens have experiences they give you, possibly heaven or other things that wipe your memory and trick you basically. So to see Scientologists who are like, they're making out like, yeah, you know, like I won't get tricked, you know, I'll die and I'm like it. I won't get scammed by the aliens thing, and I'll be able to choose where I'm going and stuff. And then you find out that in this life they're getting tricked by scams. It's just like, I think that when they die they're going to be no different to anyone else. That's my personal opinion, I reckon. Anyway, it's just funny because you could watch this and you could think, oh, these people wouldn't actually believe this dude's a reincarnation, but people actually do believe this sort of shit. Like I believe in reincarnation personally, if you're wondering. There's a lot of evidence for people actually coming back again and having memories from previous life. It's very likely, but it's just like a criminal that's like been in and out of jail for years and stuff, and he's so not L. Ron Hubbard, and like it's just so ridiculous anyway.
Hello, young man. I'm the head of Scientology. It is a great honor to meet you. All right, what the hell is going on here? We've been looking for your son for a long time, Mr. Marsh. He is the reincarnation of our church's most sacred prophet.
What?
Scientology doesn't have prophets, by the way. It just had L. Ron Hubbard, the creator of it. So that's why it's not accurate. And actually, this helps the church not be too concerned about it. Like if it had more accurate information in this episode, then the church, I think, would be really worried about it. But the ridiculousness of it, stopped it being believed by Scientology members. Because when I was in the Church of Scientology, I'd still seen this, and it didn't stop me from being a Scientologist. But anyway,
Scientologists the world over are simply rejoicing in his second coming. Look, we don't want our son to join your group, okay? We're not asking him to join us. We're asking him to lead us.
Oh my God, it's John Travolta!
Is this where he lives? Is this where Ron Hubbard is? Oh my God! Yes, John Travolta and Tom Cruise are big Scientologists. Do you believe me now? Young man, I know you don't remember it, but your name was L. Ron Hubbard. You revealed a secret which began the whole Church of Scientology. Okay, Stan, it's late. Go up to your room and get ready for bed. Let Mommy and Daddy handle this.
Jesus Christ.
Elron? Elron! It really is you!
this is Tom Cruise.
Oh, this is the greatest day of my life.
Dude, I need to go to bed.
Don't you understand, Elron? It's me, Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I know who you are.
Well, haven't I done well, Elron? Haven't you enjoyed my acting? Which film did you like best?
Well, I mean, you're not like as good as Leonardo DiCaprio, but you're okay, I guess.
What?
I mean, you're not Gene Hackman or that guy that played Napoleon Dynamite, but you're okay.
I'm nothing. I'm a failure in the eyes of the prophet. Ah!
Hey! Dude, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
Go away!
Dude, this is my room.
Go away, I said!
So he's ran into his closet, and this is, I think there was a little bit of a rumor that Tom Cruise was gay, so this is them like saying, like playing on that rumor that Tom Cruise will come out of the closet. By the way, if you want any insider information, I don't think Tom Cruise is gay at all. So, yeah, I don't know how that rumor started, but anyway.
Dad, Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet.
What?
Tom Cruise locked himself in my closet and he won't come out.
Mr. Cruz? Mr. Cruz, come out of the closet. No. Come on, Mr. Cruz, this is ridiculous. I'm never coming out. What did you say to him?
I just told him I thought Napoleon Dynamite guy's a better actor than he is.
Oh, boy. Mr. Cruz, you can't just stay in the closet, all right? You need to come out.
What's going on?
Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet.
What?
Just leave me alone. Well, we can't leave you alone because you won't come out of the closet.
One thing about Tom Cruise as well is that he doesn't, he barely ever talks about Scientology like on his TV interviews and stuff like that. And I reckon it's because he can't handle the hard questions. And this is kind of like this is people who are really into Scientology and really brainwashed by it. That's what they tend to do. They tend to just avoid information that challenges their little fantasy world. Because I noticed that when I left the church and when I left the people who are outside the church, which you call the free zone Scientology, I haven't fully left, I'm still kind of in there, that's why I'm making these videos. But they just, as soon as they hear you're not fully on board with the whole Scientology story, they just don't talk to you. So they can't handle any challenging ideas or anything like that. And this is why they still believe in it, because they don't hear the challenging ideas because they avoid listening to them. They don't hear the rumours about L. Ron Hubbard being alcoholic. They just put up a wall and go, oh, that must be made up, and they just completely ignore it. Or they don't hear about things like clear possibly not existing, which is the state that people try and achieve. Clear, it seems like it doesn't quite exist, and they just ignore it and stuff. But anyway.
It's been 4 hours.
It just shows how people pick and choose whatever reality that they want to believe, basically.
And Tom Cruise still will not come out of the closet. Hundreds of onlookers have gathered here in hopes that the celebrity will finally give in. Tom Cruise, this is Park County Police. Please come out of the closet. Everybody here just wants you to come out of the closet, Tom. Nobody's gonna be mad. Everything's gonna be all right. Just come out of the closet. We're still not exactly sure why Tom Cruise is in the closet, but I'm being joined now by famous singer-songwriter R. Kelly. Well, I was just standing here, and Tom Cruise locked himself in the closet. I asked myself, why won't Tom Cruise just come out the closet? But nobody has no answers. And so I pull out my gun. Woo! Tell me why Tom Cruise in the closet, or else I'm gonna shoot someone.
This is what's so I guess, good about this episode, or so concerning for the church about this episode. It's such a funny episode. Like, I've already seen this like 3 times, but this is just so funny. Like, having him go into closet, R. Kelly doing the thingo. This is one of the top Scientology episode. I mean, the top South Park episodes. Because South Park can sometimes have episodes that aren't that funny. So anyway, it's just like they did really well on the funniness level, and that's what made it so popular.
Please understand, we just want what is best for your son. The reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard must be taken care of. He had many enemies. Wasn't L. Ron Hubbard a science fiction writer? Yes, but he was also a prophet who knew the secret truth about the nature of life.
This is just too much.
We want to reveal to Stan the great secret of life.
Part of the thing with Scientology is that it is a little bit of a scam because it's just not what Hubbard says it is. Hence why he created Dianetics, and then he released all this other stuff after them, was like, oh, it didn't quite work, blah, blah, blah. So it's just like, oh, so Hubbard, you're admitting that you bullshitted to us in Dianetics, the first book. And it's just like, it's just all there. The evidence is there for you to see if you just want to look into Scientology. But Hubbard believed in it himself. Like, he actually, if it was just a scam, then he would have just been doing it for money, but he wasn't. Like, he actually believed in it and thought it was working, and then at times exaggerated things and stuff, and sometimes knew he was lying, but other times, like, he didn't even realize it wasn't true what he was saying and stuff. So he bought it himself, and that's why he's such, I guess, was such a good salesman of promoting Scientology, because he believed in it himself. So it wasn't like behind closed doors. He was like, oh, this is all bullshit, and I don't practice this. Behind closed doors, he was actually practicing Scientology, but he just bought his own bullshit. He deluded himself in some of it, but some of it's true and stuff. So it's just such a confusion. This is my 10-year investigation into Scientology. Is just a full-blown mass confusion, garbled, of just like, this is correct and this isn't correct, and that's true and that's a lie, and it's just like, whoa, it's a fascinating thing to try and look into.
Our church, the safely guarded Scientology doctrine. Please, your son deserves to be enlightened.
Okay, so they're about to show the big secret thingo that's on OT3 that people don't get to do until they've been in Scientology for years, and you end up having to spend thousands of dollars to get up to this level, and the level itself probably costs $4,000 or something, but it's all the stuff getting up to there that cost heaps. And so we're about to hear it, and what's really interesting about this is that it's called the OT3, like the Xenu story. There was a guy called David Mayo, and he was like a top Scientologist, and he was actually Hubbard's own auditor, so Hubbard used him because he was so good. He said that OT3 could be entirely false. So that's coming from him. So who cares what Andy Nolch says, okay? I haven't spent hours auditing people on. I haven't even done it myself, okay? So you can say Andy's wrong, he has no experience. But somebody who's actually there in the church in the 70s, in the 60s, he was involved with Hubbard in his ship and stuff. He audited Hubbard, and his result on OT3, his conclusion on OT3 was it could be entirely false, okay? So I think he should be listened to, and he also wasn't a massive fan of Hubbard because he could see how he saw Hubbard behind the scenes, the dodginess of Hubbard, and he wasn't that impressed. And you can hear it if you listen to his stuff and the things he's written. You can tell he was kind of just like, he was kind of implying, yeah, Hubbard's a bit messed up and stuff. So this is what Scientologists need to know, is that, because some people actually believe this OT3 story, and it's just like, this could be totally false. It also could be correct. I'm not going to deny that, because aliens definitely exist. There's so much evidence for them. They're in Area 51 and stuff. The government's involved with them. You know, obviously millions and millions of years ago, there would have been aliens, and people like remote viewers have looked into it, and they've gone back like possibly a million years or something like that, and there's aliens back then, like just like there is now. And so it's possible that there could have been aliens 75 million years ago, but this story that you're about to hear, it's just science fiction, and it's wow. It's a whole video itself that I need to do on OT3, but anyway.
Stan, do you want to hear the great secret doctrine of life behind Scientology?
But also, just to rephrase, this story isn't that important. It's just the actual OT3 that you do. You actually do the therapy, but then at the start you just get given the story of why you have to do the therapy, right? So a lot of people probably won't believe the story at the start, but then they just go and do the therapy and they're like, oh, well, I like it or I don't like it or whatever. So it's like, it's not like in the Scientology world, everything revolves around this story, but it's just a ridiculous part of Scientology, I guess, it's Scientology that South Park has leached onto and thought it would make such a funny thing, which it does, and this is just hilarious.
All right, go ahead and tell him. Would you excuse us, please? This is highly classified church information.
See, it's classified, yeah. Secret church
Usually,
stuff.
to hear the secret doctrine, you have to be in the church for several years, Stan. Are you ready to hear the truth?
I guess.
You see, Stan.
I feel sorry for people because they spend so much and they get up to this level and they're like, well, I'm going to find out the secrets of the universe or just something really cool, and you find out this and you're like, what? And then you do the next level and you just don't find out anything that good, and then the next level. And that's why people get to it and they just end up becoming like Leah Remini, where they get angry and they're like, this is bullshit, Scientology's a scam and blah, blah, blah.
There's a reason for people feeling sad and depressed. An alien reason.
But see how this is what I'm saying. Hubbard contradicts himself. Do you see what I mean? Earlier it was, oh, you know, you were in your mother's stomach and she banged a wall and then you hit, and then that trauma, that experience when you're in your mum's stomach, that is what causes your problems. Or, you know, you were 3 years old and you crashed a tricycle violently, that's causing your problems, right? And then later on he changes it to, oh no, it's this other reason, and it's just like, What's the answer to it, mate? Like, tell me what is it? It's because you don't know, and you keep on changing things trying to work out what it is, and you don't even know. It's ridiculous.
It began 75 million years ago. Back then, there was a galactic federation of planets, which was ruled over by the evil Lord Xenu. Xenu thought his galaxy was overpopulated, and so he rounded up countless aliens from all different planets, and then had those aliens frozen.
And then on the screen's coming up saying, this is what Scientologists actually believe. And it's true. But a lot of Scientologists, when they come across, is they either leave Scientology or they park it off into a side of their mind that says, I can't understand this. And so then they just go, well, I like all the other stuff in Scientology, so I'm just going to continue being a Scientologist. But this story, I'm just parking it to the side of a part of my mind that's just like, just not think about. And then they just go on, they just don't think about it. But then as the years go on, they run into more troubles and they end up going, what the hell's going with Scientology? And they go, yeah, what was with this crazy OT3 story? And then they start thinking about it and they connect all the dots and they're like, whoa. But anyway.
The frozen alien bodies were loaded onto Xenu's galactic cruisers, which looked like DC-8s, except with rocket engines.
So, I've found stuff where Hubbard says they were like, he says they were the exact copy of DC-8s, which is really ridiculous because that shape is for aerodynamic travel. It's for travel in air, right? That's why they have that shape. So if you're using this as a flying saucer or, you know, a UFO to travel between planets, there's no air between the planets. So it's totally ridiculous. Okay? This is just where it's like, whoa. And then you hear the story about how Hubbard researched this, and we don't really know how. Like, we never really hear how, but there's rumors possibly that it was on all these different drugs or something like that, trying to, like, open up parts. Maybe he was trying to open up parts of his mind or something like that, but I don't know. It's just like, what the hell? But a lot of the time I think Scientologists go to do Scientology and they do the therapy and it's whatever pops into their mind. So if you've got a wild imagination and stuff like Hubbard, this will pop into your mind when you're doing the Scientology and stuff. So this possibly popped into his mind and he thought, wow, this was a real thing from our past. But this was just his imagination because he's a freaking sci-fi writer and he reads sci-fi books and stuff. There is some sci-fi cartoon where there's a character called Xenu, some sort of comic or something, and he's like this evil alien ruler and stuff. And it's just like, you read that and you're like, hold on a second, what the hell? What if Hubbard just read this story once and then years later did some Scientology therapy and then it just popped into his head and he didn't realize that it was from something that he'd read from this this from this comic or something. So it's just like, what the hell? Because that's actually how a lot of the time Scientology works. Like, if you watch, for example, a movie about 18th century France, 18th century French royal family, and then you go and you do Scientology therapy and you go, well, we're going to go into your past life or something like that. Somebody might have pop in their head like, oh, I see like France and I see like 18th century dresses and stuff like that. And it's because they've seen this 18th century movie, you know? Sometimes it might be legitimate experiences that the person's having, but also it might just be from some TV show they watched and they can't remember. So a lot of the time I think Scientologists delude themselves and stuff, and they don't even realize that when they're having memories come up, it's not real memories. Like, for example, if I said to you, okay, you don't believe in past lives, but actually in a past life, you were actually a dolphin. Like, seriously, you were a dolphin, right? And then you go in to do the past life therapy, and we go, okay, we're going to go to your past life. You go, I can't remember anything. You go, no, try and remember something. You'll go, well, dolphin's popping into my head because you told me dolphin and stuff. So, and then you start talking about a dolphin. So the way Scientology works is that these Scientologists read these interesting sci-fi ideas from Hubbard, and then they go in to do the therapy, and then of course suddenly they have this idea like, oh, yeah, something happened, I blew up a planet. Yeah, there was this crazy incident where I blew up a planet. And it's just like, you read that a year ago in some Scientology book or something, and like it's just popped into your head and you're thinking it's your own experience, and it's just like, whoa. But again, I'm not saying all past life incidences aren't real, but it's just like, it's just you don't want to front load someone before they go into their past lives and tell them stuff, because they're just going to end up making up shit. Like, it's got, like this whole implant idea, I really question it. I really wonder if someone would come up with implants if they never had read it or heard it from another Scientologist. Anyway.
Cruisers then took the frozen alien bodies to our planet, Earth, and dumped them into the volcanoes of Hawaii.
Now, apparently these volcanoes, well, anyway, like, some people said these volcanoes didn't exist 75 million years ago, but I don't know if I trust dating and carbon dating and all that stuff, but anyway, but it's quite possible that they totally didn't exist.
The aliens were no longer frozen, they were dead. The souls of those aliens, however, lived on, and all floated up towards the sky. But the evil Lord Xenu had prepared for this. Xenu didn't want their souls to return, and so he built giant soul catchers in the sky. The souls were taken to a huge soul brainwashing facility, which Xenu had also built on Earth. There, the souls were forced to watch days of brainwashing material, which tricked them into believing a false reality. Xenu then released the alien souls, which roamed the Earth aimlessly in a fog of confusion.
I still wouldn't be surprised if some of this is true, because, I don't know, it does seem like people go into interesting experiences when they die and they go towards the light, and they could get some sort of alien brainwashing and stuff, and just... anyway.
At the dawn of man.
Look, I'm telling you, if Scientologists, if people who have done all the way up, who've gone up to the top and they showed signs of being smart, healthy, switched on, really successful, then I would say, hell yeah, do it. I know it sounds like wacky stuff, like the Xenu thing, but do it, you know what I mean? But the problem is that when you look at these people, you seriously see cancer, people getting cancer, you see people going insane, you see people who are just not that successful, so you just think, why the hell should I do it? You know, that's partially why I'm leaving Scientology, because I just look too much at people who got to the high levels and they weren't showing any signs of being special. Now, they were, I think, more switched on maybe than the average person, or their minds were more open than the average person, but they could have gotten that from the lower levels. The lower levels on Scientology are actually pretty good, and that's what sort of traps you into it. It gets crazier as you're going up. But then you look at Hubbard's life, and he wasn't curing himself with Scientology and all this stuff. So, you know, it doesn't really work.
The souls finally found bodies which they could grab onto. They attached themselves to all mankind, which still to this day causes all our fears, our confusions, and our problems. L. Ron Hubbard did an amazing thing telling the world this incredible truth. Now all we're asking you to do is pick up where he left off.
But I don't know any of this stuff.
Neither did L. Ron when he started. He said he just closed his eyes and wrote down whatever came to mind. You can do the same. Just let it flow.
I don't think L. Ron Hubbard said that, by the way, so that's just South Park making shit up.
Okay, I'll try.
But it's kind of is true though, like as in, well, when, like I was saying with the auditing, when you're going to do it, they ask you the question, you know, like let's say about past lives or something, and you're there and you're like, well, I can't remember anything, and then you're like, well, there has to be something, so then you end up just sort of making stuff up, and it's just silly.
Just wish I could write my room, but Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet.
I know. We've sent Nicole Kidman up there to see if she can help.
Okay, by the way, Scientologists don't really know this, but Nicole Kidman got up to like OT3 or something like that, so she's a Scientologist who just left, and because she wasn't that impressed with it. So there are so many people who've done Scientology and left, just so many people, and it's just like there's a reason why. It's because they get up to it and they realise that it's just not what it's cracked up to be. But the problem is what keeps a lot of people in Scientology is it takes so long for them to get to the higher levels that they remain in it for years and years and years, and especially ones that like volunteer heaps for the church. They don't really know what's going on, because if they had in their first 2 years of Scientology really done a lot of it, then they would see through a lot of the bullshit. But because they haven't, they buy into all the stories like, oh, he'll do this and he'll save the planet and all this amazing stuff. And it's just like, yeah, anyway. Like if you're involved with the church, you go into the section where people's folders are, and there's just all these folders with these people's names, just so many names, and they're just not around Scientology. They're gone, because it's like kind of a scam.
Tom, it's Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Tom, don't you think this has gone on long enough? It's time for you to come out of the closet.
I'm not in the closet.
I think they do a good impersonation of Nicole's Australian accent, and I love the way they draw her face, because she just looks ugly. And no offense to Nicole, but I've never found Nicole attractive, because I don't know, her face is just. She just isn't attractive. When they're advertising the movies she's in, like the mainstream media talk up their actors and stuff. Like they make out like, oh, Nicole's so amazing and pretty and all this stuff, and it's just like, oh, I don't know.
Yes, you are, Tom. And you need to just end this and come out. I'm not going to think any differently of you. Katie's not going to think any differently of you. You don't need to be in that closet anymore, Tom.
I'm not in here, though.
Yes, you are.
I'm not in the closet.
Then how am I talking to you, Tom? Tom, you can't hide forever just because the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard doesn't like your acting. Come out of the closet, Tom. You're not fooling anyone.
But I'm not in here.
By the way, this is actually what got me, I think, interested in Scientology, because some friend mentioned this crazy, I think it was this Xenu story about the aliens or something like that he'd watched South Park or something, and I thought that sounds wacky. So that's what I thought. No way they actually believe that as a religion, and it actually got me interested in seeing if they do. So then I got into Scientology. Like seriously, this led to me trying Scientology, because I was just like, what the hell is this wacky story? And for another reason. Like some coincidences came in, but it didn't put me off Scientology. It made me wonder, why the hell would someone believe that? But anyway.
Yeah. Hey, Stan, we're gonna go to the movies. I can't. I'm writing a new sacred doctrine for my church. Look, Stan, we're really getting concerned about this cult you're getting into. Cult? Scientology isn't a cult, Kyle. I've read all this stuff and it's based on fact.
It sort of is like a cult. Like it's a close, tight-knit group of people who all believe something, and they've all got like a leader that they're obsessed with and stuff.
L. Ron Hubbard was a science fiction writer. He lived on a boat with only young boys and got busted by the feds numerous times.
Okay. He didn't live on a boat with all these young boys. He lived on a boat with adults, and there were some young people and stuff, but if that's some sort of implication that Hubbard's a pedophile and stuff, that's not true. I haven't come across that. So anyway.
Those are rumors put out by people who are afraid because they don't know the secret truth. What secret truth? I can't tell you unless you pay for a few years of audit counseling. All I know is that I was depressed before, and now I found meaning. I didn't know you were depressed. Neither did I. But now, if you guys can't accept this great thing I belong to, then I suppose we're no longer friends. Stan, I just want you to know that I still hate Kyle more than you.
Cartman's such a funny character. By the way, South Park's new episodes are still funny. Like, they're still making some really good things, and they pick on a lot of left-wing stuff, which is good.
Tom! Hey, Tom, it's John Travolta.
Oh, hey, John.
Tom, you gotta come out of the closet. Oh, my God.
L. Ron Hubbard doesn't think I'm a great actor.
Maybe you took what he said out of context. Okay, it's like, if you don't come out, can I at least come in and talk to you?
Well, okay, but no tricks.
No tricks. Hey, it's really nice in here.
Yeah, see?
I feel really safe. Oh my God.
Hello? Hey, come out of there! Tom, it now appears that John Travolta is also in the closet, and he refuses to come out. Here with more details once again is R. Kelly.
So, John Travolta is actually secretly gay, so he's like bi or something. And so he legitimately is staying in the closet and not coming out and being clean about it. Anyway, just thought I'd mention that. Also, his wife recently died, and she'd gotten to the high levels. So this is just, again, like, you get up to the high levels of Scientology and it doesn't make you live any longer than anyone else. Like, if anything, you die earlier and you get cancer and stuff. Like, seriously, I think she had cancer, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, so many Scientologists get it, and somehow this higher level stuff, it just messes with your mind, and even some people, it lowers their IQ. And Hubbard seemed to get worse after he invented it. So he invented this high level stuff, this body Satan stuff, around the late 60s, and Scientology was pretty cool and an interesting religion just before that, and then it just became more crazy and more strict and stuff. So it's possible that Hubbard sent the religion all into craziness by him getting into all this OT3 stuff and this Xenu shit. Anyway.
I was just standing here, Tom Cruise locked himself in the closet. Then John Travolta John Travolta in the closet too. Please, Tom Cruise and John Travolta, come out of the closet. But then I calm myself down, and I pull out my gun.
Oh, Jesus, here we go with the gun again.
If Tom Cruise and John Travolta don't come out of the closet, I'm gonna cap this bitch. Yes. Yeah, so this is great, Stan.
I wrote that, our followers shouldn't fly in DC-8s anymore because they're too much like Xeno's evil cruisers.
Yes, of course. It was so wonderful.
And I wrote that the evil Lord Xeno has recently broken out of galactic jail.
Yes, of course.
And best of all, I wrote that all the Scientologists should no longer have to pay money to belong.
What?
I realized that to really be a church, we can't charge people for help.
What, are you stupid? Then how do we make money from those people?
Well, it's not about the money, it's about the message, right?
Wait a minute, whoa, you don't actually believe this crap, do you? Dummy! Brainwashed alien souls? E-meters and thetan levels? Those people out there buy that crap, and I thought you were smart enough to see what was really going on.
I don't think Hubbard was just doing it for money. I think he definitely wanted a big chunk of money, but I think he really wanted power from studying him and stuff, and I think he really wanted to fix corruption in the world, and I think he wanted to take over the world more than anything. So that's why he wanted the money, so he could then do things to take over the world. This is why it's not directly a scam. It's very complex.
But you said that there
What's better than telling people a stupid story and having them believe you? Having them pay you for it, stupid!
But then, why me? Why do you need me to write something so badly?
Because if those people all think you're the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard, then they'll all buy your new writings, and you and I together will make $3 million.
$3 million?
That's how a scam works. But this is a scam on a global scale. Do you fucking get me now?
Yeah, I get you.
What Hubbard did with Scientology is he sort of took spirituality and mystical ideas and stuff, and he made it into like a little McDonald's where you go in, you go in and you get your little Happy Meal of spiritual stuff, and he made it very product and it was very 1950s, because that was when American corporations were going around the world and Maccas were going into other countries and stuff. So it was very much like that, and you could tell Hubbard set it up from the start as a business. It was his business. You know, some people choose to build houses to make money or something, but he chose to start a religion and do this counselling and make money off it. So, yeah, this is sort of what he did, and it's a really interesting business. It's just like, whoa. But he was willing to lie and stuff. He went by the theory, do what thou wilt. So he just do whatever you want, and like he wasn't too concerned about what's right or wrong.
Keep writing, Elron. Your people are waiting.
Breaking news here in South Park. Tom Cruise and John Travolta still will not come out of the closet. Park County Police have decided to try a new method.
Now, I've been asked to come up here, get you both out of the closet. Man, this is some crazy shit. Why won't you both just come out the closet? They said, we're not coming out the closet, so you can just go away. But everyone wants you out the closet. That doesn't matter, cause we're gonna stay. Now I'm starting to get angry, so I pull out my gun. I'm gonna give you count to 3 to open this closet door. 1, I'm gonna shoot you both. 2, I'm gonna cap some bitch. 3. Now I'm in the closet. Now I'm in the closet too.
I think that they're implying that R. Kelly might be gay as well, which he does kind of seem a bit gay and stuff. But it's really funny when you know R. Kelly's songs and how he sings and how they impersonate it.
My fellow Scientologists, our prophet has finished his new doctrine and will now read some passages before making it available to you all for a nominal fee. I give you the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard.
Thanks. So first of all, I've written that the brainwashed alien ghosts are actually from a galaxy called Nubunan.
Oh,
And,
Basically, the reason why I've woken up to Scientology is because I've been fact-checking it for ages, and I've just sort of come to conclusions about the fact-checking. But some people just don't fact-check things, so they just get into Scientology and they go, oh, okay, yeah, oh, OT3 Xenu story, oh, okay, cool, and they don't think, oh, let's actually question this and find out if it's actually true. You know, let's see if Hubbard's right with what he said here and what is right with what he said there. But they don't do this, so then of course they just end up getting tricked by scams and stuff. It's actually a problem that most people have here on Earth. There's not enough people who are into fact-checking. It needs to be like a normal thing. But sadly, people just don't have natural abilities to critical think or fact-check things and stuff. So it's just like, yeah.
I can't do this.
What?
Look, everybody, we're all looking for answers, you know? We all want to understand who we are and where we come from, but sometimes we want to know the answers so badly that we believe just about anything.
Huh? What?
That is kind of true. Like, some Scientologists really want to know the deep secrets about life and stuff like that, so then they just latch on to these answers that Hubbard is giving, even though they might be wrong. But it's just, they want it to be true, so they just believe it.
I'm not the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard, and Scientology is just a big fat global scam.
That's kind of an exaggeration. It's definitely a scam of some sort, but it's just not a complete scam. I don't think that's right. It's like, it's weird, and the members have self-deluded themselves and stuff. Like, a lot of the reason why I stayed in was because I heard stories by other people of things, and they themselves were deluded, and I didn't realize that they were deluded, and I didn't realize how kind of retarded people are. Now that I know how retarded people are, now if I got involved with any group, I couldn't buy a lot of it, because I know how people are. Like, for example, you can give someone a cigarette that doesn't have marijuana in it, but you tell them it has marijuana in it and they can get high. So this is what it's like with Scientology. It's like you're told, here, this is what's going to happen, and then they go and do it and they're like, whoa, even though it's not really the case. It's just they're getting high by smoking something that doesn't even have marijuana in it. So now that I know that people are susceptible to this, I'll think again and go, oh, this could be one of these people that are susceptible to just delusions and shit. So yeah, I'm a lot wiser. So, yeah.
We are gonna sue you!
What?
Yeah, you think you can say our religion is a lie? We'll sue you, buddy!
You told me it was a lie.
Oh, now you're putting words in my mouth! You are so sick!
And this is a good example of the Church of Scientology. So they use suing, and I imagine heaps of organizations use this, but they just do heaps of lawsuits in order to stop TV shows like South Park making fun of them and other things. And it kind of worked a bit up until maybe the year 2000 or something, up until maybe this episode or something, but it did kind of work where it stopped people from wanting to like sell books about Scientology because they were worried they were going to get sued and other stuff, because you just know it's going to be all these legal cases and all these problems and stuff. So yeah, it's a tactic you can use to shut up people.
Dude, you can't make fun of Scientology, kid. We are gonna sue your ass and your balls. Yeah! Right! How dare you mock our faith, you little punk! You'll be hearing from our lawyers tomorrow!
We've just had an incredible development here, Mitch. Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and R. Kelly have all come out of the closet.
So you're not the prophet, huh? You made me look stupid. I'm gonna sue you too.
Well, fine. Go ahead and sue me.
I will. I'll sue you in England. You are so sued, kid.
Well, go on then. Sue me.
We're going to.
Okay, good. Do it. I'm not scared of you. Sue me.
I think that's a little message from the creators of Scientology, a little smart-ass message to the Church of Scientology. They're basically, sorry, the creators of South Park to the Church of Scientology. It's like them, by finishing off the show like this, it's like they're sort of saying, come on, sue me, huh? Come on, sue me to the church. And I don't know if they sued them or whatever, but they might have managed to stop it from getting put into reruns, but you can find it on the internet. But it's actually not that easy to find. I had to go hunting to get this episode. I downloaded it, but it was kind of hard to find. So the church doesn't like people seeing this. But anyway, that's it. That's the South Park episode making fun of Scientology and a Scientologist perspective or analysing of that episode. Yeah, it's a really funny episode, and it's funnier if you actually know Scientology. I think that maybe if you're a real true believer, then like you really believe it, you would find it offensive. But if you're like when I believed in it, I still had a sense of humor and stuff. I still found it totally funny. Particularly when it came up, the thing is saying this is what Scientologists actually believe, and it was just, I don't know, I found it funny because it's just it's so outrageous. I can imagine conservative church members are just like, oh my God, outrageous and stuff, and it's just like, whatever. Anyway, that's it for this briefing. I've been your host, Andy Knox, the Space Cowboy. You've been listening to the Indie Scientology podcast. So remember, what you thought was impossible is possible. See you later.